Hello, welcome. I'm Shalon, self-love queen, passionista, and emotional energy alchemist, and I'm here to help guide you along your self-love journey. So thank you so much for being here with me today. I'm going to cleanse the energy, clear the energy with some rose water. And we're going to be using the Rose Oracle card deck today. Let's see what messages are coming through. What messages are we needing for today? Oh, we don't want that card in there. Sorry. This card gets mixed up in here all the time. The attunement card. I'm just going to start again. Okay. What messages? Okay, that is like, these ones are way too many. One more. All right, so the first card out is the Mystic Rose. Compassion, devotion, humility, humanity, grace. I feel like this card came out the last time I used this deck. Having like grace towards yourself, compassion. What's coming through like is that like everybody's fighting their own battles, right? We don't know whose battle or like what battle it is that they're fighting, right? Just because they look like everything's okay doesn't necessarily mean that everything's okay. Or, you know, sometimes people will like have like a snap reaction and you like take it personally and it's not really about you at all. Okay, so that was kind of what was coming through there. The Mystic Rose was a symbol of the goddesses of old, so it's no wonder that when Christianity absorbed large parts of the indigenous Celtic traditions in Europe, the mother goddess, Mother Mary, became associated with the rose. Perhaps the reason Mary is so beloved is because she was the only mother goddess who could be worshipped safely, and as such carries with her the devotion and yearning of all those who long to worship the goddess in a feminine form. Mary's connection with the rose is seen in some of her titles, including Rosa Mystica, the Mystic Rose, and the Rose Without Thorns. Like those in the pagan goddesses before her, the processions that honored Mary involved walking on rose petals. The church altered the stories of goddesses past, including those that featured roses such as Aphrodite turning the white rose red with her blood, putting Mary in the goddess's place. Churches were erected all over Europe and beyond, in many cases on the site of Celtic temples and places of goddess worship. Many had beautiful rose windows in the west, the direction of the feminine, okay, in dedication to Mary, mother of the rose. This is a card of compassion, devotion, and grace. It encourages us to soften towards humanity, okay, so like being considerate towards others and to endeavor to see the world and even those who have hurt us, okay, with understanding, an open heart, and deep humility, okay? We do not forgive others for them. We forgive others for ourselves. Because why are we carrying that around with us? We owe it to ourselves to forgive others, okay? To see that we all carry hurt and are wounded. We have all experienced severing. Mother Mary is inviting you to open your heart to humanity when you most want to close. Okay, when we get hurt by someone, we want to just close our heart off and protect ourselves, right? But it's about remaining open. Okay, so the soul inquiry is, how are you being called to show compassion today? All right, so the next card is the Rose Thread, inner call, soul led, the mystic, living courageously. So where are you being called to? What is your soul calling to you? and stepping up into that. We've had lots of solar plexus energy coming through lately, which is like our power center, right? Being confident, standing in your power, right? We talk about turning your pain to power, right? Sorry, I was just looking at the picture. So this is the card of the mystic, the one who's in touch with the depths of the inner world and their interweavings of the world and beyond, way beyond. They're dedicated to listening to the mysterious voice whispering within, right? And that's why we're being called to slow down, to take some quiet time so that we can hear that whisper. Okay. And even though it may not come to us when we are like meditating or anything like that, the other day we talked about doing things that fill your soul. Like it said, like gardening and that kind of stuff. It might come to you when you're doing like things that light up your soul. Okay. To following their intuition and living in accordance with that, to living by being guided by the rose thread, okay? By trusting the nudges, right? Following the rose thread means being dedicated to walking the way of the rose, to being in service to humanity and dedicated to writing a new story. So where are you being called to write a new story, okay? What is no longer serving you? It requires courage and faith and the willingness to pave a new path. The rose has been a symbol of the mysteries for thousands of years. The rose thread is the invisible path that the mystic follows. It takes courage to trust it, for the path is different for every single person. I talked about this last week, about how not everybody's path is the same, okay? And we need to honor that your path is not the same as the other person's, right? But you are right where you're meant to be, okay? So this is why it requires courage to trust the inner call. And those who do so find great reward. So trusting in the process, okay? Following the nudges, trusting in the process. This card is a sign that you're being called to follow this initiatory path led by the thread deep within. You may find that you're in a place of great change and are being called to have faith and gather up the courage to take the next step. This card is a sign of encouragement to keep taking the next step, right? One step a day adds up to 365 steps in a year, okay? It's acknowledging the courage it takes to live a soul-led life and honoring you for always taking the leap. So your rose transmission, if you want to place your hand on your chest, is even when things feel unclear, especially when they do, I trust that I'm always led from within. Beautiful. Okay. I almost thought that was the end of the messages for today. It's not. So the next card is trust the seasons, embracing change, cycles of life, transition, and growth, right? We go through cycles in our life, and it's about really feeling into those, okay? We cannot be doing all the time, right? We need to take time to come back to ourselves, okay? Just like the moon phases, right? We all have phases as well. Stepping out, like transitioning from one phase of your life to the next. Like what is coming to my mind is like how as parents we transition with our children, right? We transition from baby to toddler, and then toddler to being in elementary school, and then elementary school to high school, and then high school to like graduation, and then they're like out on their own and you're like an empty nester, right? Those are phases, those are transitions, and we just flow through those cycles of life, right? So gosh, I'm sorry, I can't find sometimes. The fact that they put the in front of things throws me off sometimes. Here we go. Our disconnection from the earth and her seasons leads us to believe that we should be in full bloom all year round, right? That we should be doing constantly. That we should grow without leaving space to cut back. When we focus on the never-ending bloom, we forget the importance of all of life's phases, right? The rose, like all of nature, teaches us that this every day. She's forever showing us how to embrace the ever-changing seasons in an ever-changing world. We're not meant to stay the same. Relationships aren't meant to stay the same. Okay? Life isn't meant to stay the same, right? You talk about, I hear like, actually it was 11:11 on my timer, right? I hear people talking about all the time about different phases in their relationships with their partner and stuff, right? Even like I was just talking about like with your kids, right? How your relationship with them changes, right? And it's about just flowing through that. Life isn't meant to stay the same. Okay, the only constant in life is change. Nothing on this planet is meant to stay the same. The seasons teach us that. Night and day teach us that. Time and age teach us that. Birth and death teach us that. We may return to a place, a person, but things won't be exactly as they were. For everything and everyone is forever changing. Nothing is static. Have you ever gone, this has happened with me and my kids, where we've gone on a holiday, okay, when they were little, and it was so much fun, and it was new and exciting, and they were little, and then like they're older, they're like, oh mom, you remember when we went to wherever, and we should go back there again because it was like so much fun. And then we go back there and they're just like, yeah, you know, because it's not the same. It's not the same excitement. They're not the same age, right? It's a completely different experience altogether. Like, not that it can't be a joyful experience, but it's just like, it's different, right? And there's nothing wrong with that, right? But that was their experience then. And we're meant to have different experiences throughout life, right? The more we try to control things and keep them the same, the further away from the flow of life and ourselves that we get. Change can be scary, for it means surrendering to the unknown of being in the in-between. Can be the most uncomfortable time ever, where you're just like, you know that where you were at, right, is no longer, but you're not quite sure where you're going, okay? To being not who you were and not quite who you'll become. It requires a trust in the transformation. Okay, trusting in the transformation. When the caterpillar goes into the cocoon, right, and turns to goo, right? When they go into their cocoon, they literally turn to goo before they transform into this amazing butterfly, right? And they have to trust in that process. And they do that by literally breaking down into goo. Like, how incredible is that? But they know, like, well, unfortunately, not all of them, I guess, make it, but like, they trust that they're going to become this beautiful butterfly, right? In the death, in order for the rebirth to occur, right? There has to be, we talk about the tower moments, the breaking down, the crumbling, everything has to like fall away to start again. And it can be scary, right? The more we resist change, the further away we are from who we are becoming. When we embrace change, okay, embracing the change, we embrace life and nature and are forever becoming. Okay, so the soul inquiry is, how can you embrace the changing seasons of your life? Okay, so where are you needing to embrace the changing seasons of your life? Is a good place to explore. So Let me know how those beautiful messages resonated with you today. Maybe let me know what season you're in right now, how you're feeling. Maybe if you're struggling with any of those changes in seasons, you might want to reach out to me and we can work through those with some coaching packages. Or if you're interested in Self-Love Queen Academy, that's coming up in the fall. If you're ready to deep dive into your self-love journey and start showing up differently in your life and taking action steps towards confidently and courageously showing up as your divine queen self. So the link for all of that is in the comments or in the description below. Thank you so much for being here and sharing your beautiful energy with me. Please like, share, and subscribe so that I can reach a wider audience of beautiful souls and share these messages with them. Yeah, other than that, thank you so much for being here today. And remember, you weren't meant to blend in. You were born to shine. Have a beautiful day. Take care.